move on to Ghislaine Maxwell. As you know, Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Attorney General spent 2 days interviewing her. She, of course, has been convicted of grooming, recruiting, abusing young teenage girls, along with Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. Speaker, Maxwell's attorney said she answered all questions honestly and truthfully, but do you think that Ghislaine Maxwell can be trusted?
Well, I mean, look, it's a good question. I hope so. I hope that she would want to come clean. We certainly are interested in knowing everything that she knows. And as you'll note, in our House Republican majority, we're working towards that. Chairman Comer and our Oversight Committee has already issued their own subpoena. They want to bring in Ghislaine Maxwell as well. I hope she's telling the truth. She is convicted. She is serving a 20-year sentence for child sex trafficking. And so her character is in some question. But if she wants to come clean now, that would be a great service to the country, and we'd like to know every single bit of information that she has. I certainly hope she's telling the truth.
We'll see. What I know is they didn't release parts of the transcript; they released the whole transcript, and you know, so you can go through the whole thing. And of course, this confirms what we all knew. If the Democrats, if President Trump had done something wrong, you don't think the Democrats would have released that? I mean, it was their Justice Department who handled all this. You don't think the Garland Justice Department and the Chris Wray FBI would have released information? We knew President Trump didn't do anything wrong here. He said that repeatedly. This transcript is the whole transcript, and it confirms that. So. Yeah, I think there's nothing there. It seems based on what we got from the interview of Miss Maxwell.
Obviously, the developments with the Epstein case with the judge. But I wonder, has the White House counsel, the DOJ explored any other documents that could be released to the public that don't have to do with that grand jury testimony?
To my knowledge, the Department of Justice has moved forward with the request to unseal that grand jury testimony, and as you know, they have also moved forward with interviewing Ms. Maxwell, which I believe will be taking place very soon.
Even Fox News is calling BS on Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony.
That's their take, that of course she was going to say this because she wants a pardon, she wanted better digs, and she got transferred. And you say? Well, apparently he says nothing. Well, look, I think and I read, a lot of the transcript. I couldn't get through most of it, but I did read a lot of it. I think at this point, people have to start asking themselves, what really is this all about? We heard about the Epstein files. She said in her interview that there were no such files. She said there was no such list. Now, can you believe her? I guess you can't believe anybody. At this point, I think people are just saying, let's see what Congress wants to find out. They can do their thing. But I also think it's probably a fair point that no matter what comes out, whichever side you're on, you're not going to be satisfied. I don't think so.
Does she have any incentive to be completely forthcoming? Or is there incentive for her, perhaps in seeking a pardon, to not share the truth? What do you make of her credibility?
And that's the question people are going to have. She's a convicted felon. And so how much do you rely on the testimony that she's providing? I mean, that's one of the number one questions that her critics are going to have. How much does the DOJ or any entity that is a law enforcement entity rely on the testimony of somebody who's a convicted felon? So like I said, that last little tidbit that's been unearthed where she says, I never saw any bad behavior with any of these men. Now, maybe she said something to the effect, I might have a different interpretation of that if somebody's getting handsy, that kind of thing. But I didn't see anything with any inappropriate people, male or female. I just didn't see it. So that then starts to flag for a lot of people a credibility issue, because we are told from victims all over the place, I mean, dozens of them, that there were years of this stuff and that she was, by their allegation, implicit and aware of what was going on.
Ghislaine Maxwell came out and said that she was not aware of any wrongdoing of Trump, but obviously we know that
there was in some ABC reporting. She said that, allegedly, in this conversation with Todd Blanche.
Exactly. And so she comes out and says that, but not after she got moved to this luxury prison where she's closer to family and, now she gets a more cushy lifestyle. And they made an exemption for her to be moved to that prison. Mm-hmm. So the timing of it seems really suspect.
At the end of the day, Donald Trump has no ability to shift the blame and shift the focus. I mean, Ghislaine Maxwell, according to her testimony to the Department of Justice, she said Not only is Donald Trump completely innocent of anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein, but so is Bill Clinton. So Trump and Bill Clinton, notorious perverts, they're not guilty, even though we have records that Bill Clinton went to Jeffrey Epstein's island dozens of times. Okay, so that's already unbelievable. Then the fact that she has already committed perjury and just who she is in general. Ghislaine Maxwell is one of the most notorious, not just sex trafficker, child sex traffickers of modern times. She was helping Jeffrey Epstein to run an operation that spanned the entire globe. This is who we're talking about. We're not talking about somebody who was wrongfully convicted. We're not talking about somebody who's some type of political prisoner or prisoner of war. This is Ghislaine Maxwell. And she got transferred into a very low security prison, and perhaps she can leave for work. Let's make it real easy for her. Let's make her sprinkle some sugar all over her testimony. But nobody believes this because Donald Trump's entire career for decades, he's been a public pervert. I mean, this is a man, right, who in his 40s, mid to late 40s, something like that, owned teenage modeling pageants. Like that's what you're doing with your money, and all the things that he's said publicly about how he doesn't care about consent and what have you. So it's really a joke, but this is where the Republican Party finds itself, such that they can't even BS themselves anymore.